The hall outside the ritual chamber was colder than I remembered. Stone walls stretched endlessly, torches flickering against carvings that twisted in and out of shadow, monstrous, beautiful, eternal, just like him. My steps echoed hollowly, my limbs tight with residual magic and defiance. I didn't know where I was going, only that I needed to put distance between myself and the creature who'd wrapped my fate in his name. But fate, it seemed, wasn't finished with me yet. I turned a corner and slammed into a wall of heat and muscle. He caught me. Of course he did. Eryx stood like he'd stepped from shadow itself, one arm curling around my waist as if the universe conspired to give him excuses to touch me. "Going somewhere?" he asked, voice smooth and lethal. I shoved at his chest. "Get your hands off me." He didn't. His palm slid up my spine in a subtle, possessive sweep before he released me, and I hated that my skin mourned the loss. "I let you walk away once," he said, stepping back. "But you and I both know you won't get far." I straightened. "Watch me." "You're bleeding through the bond," he said bluntly. "Every time you deny it, it weakens you. That's not stubbornness, Nyra. It's suicide." The way he said my name, low, steady, laced with a gravity that curled into places I didn't want touched. It wasn't just sound, it was power. I folded my arms. "What do you want from me now? Another lecture on how I belong to you?" His smile was all teeth. "I'm past that. You do belong to me. That's not a debate. What I want now is your cooperation." I blinked. "You're joking. Do I look like I'm in the mood for jokes?" He turned, walking down a narrow hall, not looking to see if I'd follow, just knowing I would. And damn me, I did. I trailed him through the fortress, deeper into its belly, through iron-laced arches and spell-marked doors. The air grew warmer, charged with unseen magic. We passed no guards, no courtiers, only silence and flickering sigils etched into the walls like veins. He stopped at a heavy obsidian door, laid his hand against it. The wards pulsed in recognition, then vanished. Inside, a war room. Maps and relics cluttered the circular space, arcane weapons mounted like art. In the center stood a table of blackened wood, veined with silver, pulsing faintly, alive. "This is where you seduce all your prisoners?" I asked. Eryx smirked. "Only the dangerous ones." I stood my ground. "Say what you came to say." He stepped around the table slowly, deliberately, the way a predator circles a kill it hasn't quite decided to devour. "You're Veilborne," he said, marked not just by me, but by something older, something even my court fears. I swallowed, then unmark me. He laughed, dark and low, like thunder beneath silk. "You don't undo what you are, you wield it, or it destroys you." My hands curled at my sides. "What do you want?" "I want you to work with me." His gaze sharpened. "Not as a pet, not as a prisoner, as a weapon." Cold bloomed in my chest. "No, it's not a request." "Then you've already lost." His expression shifted, not anger, but something far worse. Patience, the kind that knew time was on his side. "You're already hunted," he said. The other courts will come for you. They'll want your power. To use, to break, to breed. I'm the only one who can keep them from tearing you apart." I laughed, hollow. "Let me guess, and I'll just happen to owe you everything?" "You already do." He stepped closer, voice dropping to a whisper that brushed along my skin like a secret. "You think I bound you for power? For politics?" He reached out, brushed a stray curl from my cheek with a touch that made my breath hitch. "I bound you to keep you alive, Nyra." I should have slapped him. Instead, I stood there trembling, the heat of him bleeding through every inch of space he closed. "Let me go," I said, the words barely audible. "I can't." "Won't." His eyes darkened. Number I won't. His fingers traced the faint pulse at my throat, not pressing, just feeling, claiming, and I hated the way my body arched into it, traitorous and hungry. "I'm offering you survival," he said, "on your terms. But if you keep fighting me, I'll have no choice but to use mine." I shoved him hard. He let me, even stumbled a step back. "Don't confuse desire with surrender," I spat. His grin was slow, wicked. "You keep saying that, yet every time I touch you, you burn." Turned from him, needing space, needing air. But the room felt smaller now, like it inhaled with him and exhaled when I did. Even the shadows seemed to listen, not to me, but to him. "You think I'll agree to help you after everything?" I asked, gripping the edge of the table. He didn't answer. Not right away. Instead, he stalked toward the wall lined with relics. Blades older than kingdoms, scrolls bound in cracked leather, a crown of woven bone. His fingers brushed over a small obsidian vial etched in a language I didn't recognize. When he turned, something darker flickered behind his gaze. "I don't need your help," he said finally. "I need your choice." I narrowed my eyes. That's the same thing. Number. If I force you, the magic turns brittle. The bond snaps. You'll be powerful, yes, but untethered, unstable, dangerous in ways even I can't predict. He paused. But if you choose me, he didn't finish. He didn't have to. A hot current crawled under my skin at the word choose. Not because I wanted to, but because part of me already had. Damn him. Damn me. Eryx stepped forward, slow and sure, until he stood across the war table from me. His palms rested on the surface, veins flexing against skin the color of molten dusk. His presence didn't just fill the space. It claimed it. "Say yes," he murmured, "and I'll show you what real power feels like. I'll show you what it means to stop surviving and start ruling." I swallowed, throat dry. "And what do you get?" I asked. His eyes didn't leave mine. "Everything." My pulse throbbed in my wrists, in my throat, in places he hadn't even touched, yet somehow already owned. I hated the way his voice made heat coil low in my belly. I hated that part of me wanted to lean forward, close the space, taste the promise on his tongue. I gripped the edge of the table tighter. "This isn't trust," I said. "It's coercion wrapped in seduction." "I've never lied to you." "That's the worst part," I whispered. The air between us vibrated, with tension, with magic, with something unspoken and volatile. If I moved, it would snap. If he touched me again, I wasn't sure I'd stop him. He tilted his head. You still don't understand what's coming. I held his gaze. Then tell me. Eryx reached across the table, offering his hand, not taking, not dragging, offering. A simple gesture, but everything in it felt dangerous. I didn't move. He didn't drop his hand. They're preparing to summon the inheritance trials, he said. Every court will send champions to stake their claim, not just to power, but to the future of our realm. They're coming to tear it apart and rebuild it in blood. And you want me to be your champion? No, he said. I want you to be the storm they don't see coming. I stared at his hand. It wasn't just the warmth of it, or the strength, or the unyielding command woven through his presence. It was what it represented. If I took it, I wasn't just agreeing to a proposition. I was stepping into war, into him. And part of me, the part I kept buried under fear and rage and doubt, was starving for that kind of fire. But the part that remembered chains, my fingers twitched, then curled away. No, I said quietly. His jaw tightened. Not anger, but something more lethal, restraint. Then you leave me no choice. Before I could step back, the room pulsed. Magic flared in the air, ancient, hot, wild, and the bond between us snapped taut. I gasped. A surge of sensation flooded me, heat, pressure, his power sliding along my skin like silk drenched in sin. I staggered, barely catching myself on the table, chest heaving. What are you? I started. Showing you what you are, he said, voice like thunder barely leashed. This isn't about obedience, it's about awakening. He circled the table, and I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Magic coiled around my ankles, crawled up my spine, curled in my chest. But it wasn't pain. It wasn't control. It was like remembering a version of myself not yet lived. He stopped in front of me, raised a single hand, pressed it flat against my sternum, and the room exploded. I saw darkness, stars, fire, memories that weren't mine, a battlefield soaked in shadow, a crown broken, a scream that tore the sky open, and in the center, me, drenched in light and blood and power. When I came back to myself, I was on my knees, sweating, trembling, wrung out from magic that had no name. He crouched before me, one hand still braced against my chest, the other cradling my jaw. You're not afraid of me, he said softly. You're afraid of yourself. My lips parted, to deny, to fight, to beg. I didn't know. But all that came out was a whisper. Eryx. His name was a confession and a curse. I should have pushed him away. But my body betrayed me, swaying toward the heat of his palm, the pressure of his presence, like the magnetic pull of a rift, inevitable and consuming. Eryx didn't kiss me. He didn't have to. His thumb brushed the hollow beneath my bottom lip, and my breath shuddered into that space like it belonged to him. You feel it now? He said. Yes. Gods, yes. But I still hated him for it. for knowing what lived inside me before I did, for unearthing it with nothing but his voice, his presence, his wicked fucking patience. My voice cracked. What did you do to me? He didn't move, didn't blink. I reminded you of your nature. That's not an answer. It's the only one that matters. I wanted to scream, to strike, to claw away the truth sinking into my bones like ink. But all I could do was rise, slowly, limbs shaking, and face him. The air between us sparked. My skin still sang from the memory of magic, of him. And I couldn't decide if I wanted to run or fall into him so hard I'd forget where I ended. Eryx's eyes lowered, trailing the line of my neck, the curve of my collarbone, the rise and fall of my chest. It wasn't lust exactly. It was claiming. Why me? I asked, my voice quieter now, stripped and raw. You could have found 100 others. His gaze locked on mine. Because your soul called to mine, he said simply. It shouldn't have meant anything, but it did. It was the first time he'd spoken of this thing between us, as if it wasn't just strategy or survival, but something older, something sacred and damning all at once. Fated, cursed. I swallowed hard, throat tight. If I say yes to your proposition, I asked, what happens to me? His hand fell away from my chest, but not before his fingers grazed the space above my heart. You stop running from who you are. And if I say no? His voice turned to iron. Then when the trials come, you'll be hunted, broken, used. They'll strip the veil from your bones and feast on your power like wolves in heat. You'll die before you ever understand the kind of fire you were born to hold. His words weren't cruelty. They were prophecy, and part of me knew it. I took a trembling breath. You make damnation sound so seductive. His mouth curled. That's because it is. He stepped back then, letting the distance breathe. I'll give you until the blood moon, he said. That's 3 nights. Why then? Because that's when the veil thins, and when our bond, should you choose to complete it, becomes permanent. My heart stumbled. Permanent? He nodded once. Bound in power, bound in body, bound in fate. A pause. And if I don't choose to complete it? His eyes darkened. Then I'll do what I must to protect the realm, even if that means tearing yours apart. I flinched, but it wasn't his threat that shook me. It was the part of me that believed he'd hate every second of it. 3 nights, I whispered. 3. I turned to go, because staying meant surrendering, and I wasn't ready to give in to the hunger clawing beneath my skin. Not yet. But as I reached the threshold, his voice cut through the silence like a blade dipped in smoke. Nyra. I froze. He almost never used my name, and when he did, it felt like a tether tightening. I turned slowly, heat blooming under my skin. His expression was unreadable, but his voice held a promise. When you do come back? He paused, something like reverence bleeding into his tone. Come back for the right reasons, not just because you're afraid of what's coming. Come back because you want what I can give you. What's that? He smiled, dark, devastating. Everything you were told you could never have. And with that, he turned away, vanishing into shadow, leaving me burning, wanting, and terrified of how much of me already belonged to him